Hello everyone, I'm back. The time has come for me to make a new video and I just had to talk about this very exciting time because it's been, maybe we shouldn't say confirmed because the word confirmed hasn't really been confirmed, but it's looking very, very likely that the UK will host Eurovision 2023. And the fact that I'm even saying that, like the fact that you can actually say that and it is a real thing, is just insane. It's just so weird. I mean, what a year it's been for the UK in Eurovision this year, and now we've got this as well. It's so weird seeing all of these UK cities putting themselves forward to bid to host. Even my city, Cardiff in Wales, and I know we're not going to host it in Wales, I know that. But, to see your local city putting themselves forward, like it's just a really weird thing to experience. What a time to be alive. So, yeah, a very exciting time for UK fans, definitely. It's not really a shock because we knew that there was no way that Ukraine could host. It was just impossible. It was just not going to happen. You can't just wait until November, December to start planning. You do have to start planning now, and they're just not in a position, unfortunately, to do it. And it's been talked about for a while now, even before the final, when the UK was a favourite to actually win the whole thing, that the UK could end up hosting because they were the runner up, first of all, and I think it's always been an unofficial rule that if the winner couldn't host next year, then they would give it to the runner up. And that has happened before where other countries have stepped in for the country that won because they couldn't host. It has happened before, but not for a very long time. I think it was 1980 was the last time. So it is a very unique situation for a lot of fans in this generation. The UK is a member of the Big Five as well. So yeah, I mean, it's not really a shock, but to actually have that statement and get almost the confirmation and to realize it's actually happening, yeah, it can be very interesting. Like I said, a very unique situation because you've got a country that isn't hosting because they won as normal, they're hosting on behalf of another country. And like we said, that doesn't usually happen, hasn't happened for a while. Um, so yeah, it's well, I mean, unfortunate and also very strange situation. But I think it could be a very special moment, actually. This could be a very heartfelt collaboration because it is really a collaboration between the two countries, UK and Ukraine. I mean, if it is in the UK, I mean, I'm sure it's not been confirmed, but they have said that they have started, being in discussion with the UK to host, and no other country was mentioned. I know that Poland was an option. I did think maybe it could be in Poland, but in that EBU statement, the only country they mentioned was the United Kingdom. So let's assume that it will be the UK. So this isn't a British Eurovision, it will be a Ukrainian Eurovision, I'm sure, a Ukrainian show, but in a different country. But it does get you thinking, will this be a balance between the two countries? How much Ukrainian influence will be in the actual event, and how much British influence will there be? Will there be a balance of half and half? I'm sure there'll be Ukrainian interval acts, maybe the hosting could be maybe one Ukrainian person and a British person. We don't know yet, but it does make you think, what will the show actually be like? I've seen quite a few people say that they don't want there to be any UK involvement or influence at all. You're hosting in your country, but don't get involved at all. I don't really agree with that. I think that's a little bit unfair. I don't think there's anything wrong with showing at least some appreciation to a country it's being hosted in, but also obviously keeping it very, very Ukrainian as well. But I don't see a problem with having, well, I think definitely Sam Ryder could be involved in the interval act, especially because apparently Kalush Orchestra and Sam Ryder have actually made a song together, apparently. So if they can perform together in the interval act, that would be brilliant. What a great collaboration that will be. So yeah, I mean, of course, we're not expecting interval acts full of British music. It probably will be very Ukrainian focused, which, it should be. But I I don't think it's really fair to say, don't have any UK involvement at all. I don't think there's a problem with having Sam Ryder perform with Kalish Orchestra if that's what they want. I think that's fine, but I'm sure they will keep it very Ukrainian focused. So if they've got that balance of the two countries, I think that will be a very special moment. I think that will work very well. And you know that the BBC will put on a good show. I mean, look at the Jubilee concert that Sam Ryder performed at a few weeks ago. I'm sure they will definitely put on a good show. I also don't agree with people saying that it's wrong for UK fans to be excited about the fact that it's being hosted in the UK. I don't think that's very fair either. I think, you can't blame us for being excited. Every Eurovision fan in any normal year, if your country has won, then your country is hosting the next year, and that's really exciting for you. So why shouldn't we be excited? Surely that's expected. And of course, we know this is a Ukrainian Eurovision. And I'm sure, with that balance as well, two countries working together, I'm sure it'll be, like I said, a very nice moment. So now, of course, the question is what city in the UK will actually host if it is in the UK? Well, like I said before, there's actually been quite a lot of British cities putting themselves forward, and that's interesting to see. And again, quite surreal as well, to look on your Twitter timeline and to see all these politicians, councillors putting themselves forward. It's just not what you'd expect. Who would have thought 3 years ago that the UK would be doing this, and in a different circumstance as well? Um, so yeah, there have been multiple cities that have said they'd like to do it, but I think there are definitely two favourites, front runners, and that is Manchester and Glasgow. And I think they were talked about even before the final, when Sam Ryder was, kind of a favourite to maybe win. It was talked about, who would host then, and Manchester and Glasgow back then, I think, were talked about. I think Manchester, especially, does seem like what you'd expect, like an obvious choice, especially because London isn't really being talked about as being the host and doesn't seem very popular with UK fans to be the host. Maybe because it's too obvious, too big, everything happens in London. Um, so, that's not really being discussed. It is Manchester or Glasgow, the two big ones. And I've actually never been to either of those two. Um, I've been to Scotland, to Edinburgh, but not Glasgow, and I haven't actually been to Manchester either. I think you need to remember that the UK is a big country. It's not a tiny island. It is a big country. And even if you live in the UK, you don't always go everywhere in the country. There are places that you've never been to before, even in your own country. Um, so I don't know Manchester or Glasgow personally. Um, but if you think about if the UK were to host, who would it be if it's not London? Manchester does kind of jump out at you as being more of an obvious choice. They both have big arenas. They both have suitable arenas with the right amount of capacity. They're both big cities with airports. So they both are quite strong candidates. I know people say, oh, the arena is free in May. It could be them. But it needs to be free in April as well. I think people keep forgetting that you need April as well as May to build the stage and to plan everything. So just because the arena is free in May, what about April? And I have seen so far that both Manchester and Glasgow arenas have got events in April at the moment, and the end of April as well. So they both would need to reschedule things if need be. So in terms of the venues, they both seem fine for that. In terms of the city itself, I mean, personally, I would prefer Manchester because it's easier for me to get to. Personally, I can just get a train from Wales to Manchester, and the fact that I could do that to go to Eurovision is just insane. And I will be going, like, I have to go. I will be there no matter what. Nothing is stopping me. I will go to Eurovision 2023 in the UK. Glasgow, I'll have to fly, but you know, I'll do it if need be. The more research that I do into the two cities, Manchester and Glasgow, the more I think I've never been to Glasgow, but the more I look into it, it does kind of look to me like Glasgow might have more facilities in terms of Eurovision events like the village, press centres. It looks like Glasgow might actually have more of an opportunity for that, maybe more than Manchester. But then, I don't know, Manchester, like, it does make sense, it really does. So, who knows out of those two which it will be. I'm sure at some point it will probably be narrowed down and confirmed to be Manchester versus Glasgow, like it was Turin or Bologna. I'm sure we'll find out more information over the next few months. Um, but yeah, let me know what you think between those two, Manchester or Glasgow, assuming it is one of them, which it looks like it will be. Which one do you prefer? So, United Kingdom hosting on behalf of Ukraine, what will that be like? How will they do it? Let me know in the comments below what you think. We talked about the balance between British and Ukrainian involvement in the show itself. What do you think that should be like? What would you like to see Ukrainian hosting, Ukrainian interval acts with some kind of UK interval act as well? Well, let me know. What should the balance actually be like? Do you think they'll do a good job? I've also seen on Twitter people coming up with ideas on the logo. So having the heart as normal with both the Ukrainian flag and the Union Jack. And I like that idea. I think that's a really nice idea. being a logo, slogans, that's a whole other thing that comes later. For UK fans as well, there's a lot of people that are going to want to go and get tickets, or, even not just get tickets, but be there. And I will be one of those people, definitely. So I'm sure we'll hear very soon. I mean, will the UK say no? Hmm. Well, there's been a bit of confusion, definitely, because you've had Ukraine, or the Ukrainian broadcaster, actually come back and say, no, we don't like this. We're not happy with this. We want to host. We know that we can host. But everyone knows, they can't host. There's no way. This is the right choice. It just is, it makes sense. So I'm sure we will hear more soon, and you'll hear more from me when we know more. But until then, let me know what you think about this very exciting time. It's actually happening. Can you believe? It's still hard to believe. We will see what happens. So let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you for watching.